underworld ministry. What is going on? I know. We've been gone for like a couple of weeks, but it's for good reason. I've been out in the field. I've been investigating the awesome Plum House in Clearwater, Florida. Shout out to David Alcorn and the Clearwater History Museum. Thank you so much for letting us come in and investigate. But I am back with you guys again with another awesome podcast. You guys ready to see? You ready to get into this? I know I am. The thing is, it's the first time that we've been to this state. I don't think we've been to this state yet. I don't know. Don't know. Here's our guest.
We'll keep the showers away, and if I kiss you in the garden, in the moonlight, will you?
That is right. Just like you read, a viewer's discretion advised for some of the content into this. Hopefully nobody gets offended. But we will try to keep it respectful, like we always do. So here is our new guest, Christy.
Hello.
Did I say your name right, Christy?
Yes, you did. You bet you did.
Awesome. It's pretty much my name,
Yeah, I know, right? True story. That's a true story.
So this building, the Stephenson building, was built in 1901. The building is said to have been home to the mafia, the KKK, gambling, prostitution, and other activities in the early 20th century. That's a whole lot for one building.
It is. And it was actually built more around 1881, but George Stephenson didn't take control of it till 1901.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So
but Sam Wymore, Sam Wymore built it around 1881. I don't even think there's an exact date that we can put to it. They're not sure. It's just 1881, 1882, somewhere in there, because that's when he founded the town. So
right. Wow. Now, out of all of that stuff, what do you think was more prominent in that building? I know there's a big list of stuff that right there, but
I definitely think there was a huge well, I know there was a huge mob presence. When you talk to some of the locals, and I did before I ever even bought the building, just curious out of the history and this and that, whatever. But some of the locals actually talk about remembering hearing stories from their grandparents about Al Capone specifically being in this building. Uh, Yes, this was the financial hub of Wymore for quite some time. And so there was a lot of talk of illegal activity going on as far as bootlegging liquor, prostitution, just all kinds of things. This town was so insane that they called it the Sin City to the west. So this is almost like the original Sin City. It had the railroad actually is the only mob-owned railroad that went from New York down to Louisiana. And this was a huge stop. This town was pretty insane for the time period. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, the mob kind of goes hand to hand with the gambling and prostitution.
Yes.
Since you bought the house or the building, I guess it's kind of your house since you do live in it now.
Yeah, that's an adventure all on its own.
Yeah. So how did you come to purchasing the building or getting the building?
It's kind of a long story, so I'll try to shorten it. So I have my degree in film production, and one of the things that I like doing more than anything is just urban exploring, like looking for abandoned places, photographing them, filming them. I just love doing it. And so Wymore just happened to be a place that I ended up finding out about that had all these abandoned places and whatever. And then I came out here and was exploring, and I started learning about the history, and I fell in love with the town of Wymore and Wymore's history all on its own. And so my original goal was to film a documentary here, and I kind of just wanted like an office space. And
Yeah.
then my friend Keith that was here basically said, he was like, "Oh, there's this building for sale if you want it." And so I told the owner, jokingly, I told the owner, I said, "Well, I don't want it if it's not haunted." And I was only kidding. And so then he said, "Well, you can have access to it for 2 months. And then if you still want it, fine." So I started coming out here and sleeping here, and the stuff that was happening was just blowing my mind. Like, there was a lady singing and the footsteps and the men talking. And when I tell you this town has a lot of abandoned stuff, for the most part, everything around me is abandoned. There's,
Wow.
people actually just moved in next door. But when I first started coming here, this entire block was empty. Every one of the buildings was abandoned. So there's no way I'm hearing anybody else. And the only thing across the street is the grocery store, and they close at 7 o'clock.
Wow.
So there's just nothing. And so I finally was like, okay, I'm convinced, I'll take it. So I had bought it, and I had gone in on it with some two other business partners. And over about a year's time, Portals to Hell filmed here. Jack Osborne was here, and they filmed. There's an episode. And right about the time when they filmed here, my business partners somehow or another managed to, they basically took it from me, and I was locked out of my own building for 3.5 years.
Oh no.
And I just recently got it back. And it's all mine, free and clear. No one else owns it, just me. And so I am now picking up where I left off, and even better. So,
Yeah. I mean, I've been seeing pictures of what you've been doing. I just saw the really cool roof that you exposed.
the tile,
Is that
yes.
like a brass or
Uh, it's copper. It is
copper?
copper
Okay.
tile. Yep, and copper does oxidize. And so that's why you get the really pretty coloring, because of the oxidization in it. And I've been going back and forth on whether to restore it or just leave it. And I think I'm leaning more towards just leaving it. I'm just staring at it right now. It's to me,
Yeah.
it's one of the most beautiful things. And when I first bought it, what I wanted to do was expose this tile, because it's just, I'm obsessed with it. And so when I got back in, the first thing we did was take down the the drop ceiling so you can see it all. And it's clearly still falling apart, but we have enough in the back, good tile, so that we can at least tile most of like the front entrance, and then back some ways. So once that's all up and whatever, we have some places in the flooring we need to fix and things like that. And once that's done, we'll put all those tiles back up. And some of the original lighting fixtures are up there. So we're going to try to put some chandeliers and things up there. So,
That's awesome. So you're trying to stay true to what the building is.
yes.
That's awesome. So are you in like full restoration mode right now, or
I mean, sort of. I think at the moment it's more or less. It's been the last couple weeks have been just trying to make it livable. Because when I first got here, like, I couldn't turn the water on because it was too cold. It does not have central heating at all. I didn't have electricity, so I spent a couple nights in here, where I was in a 0-degree sleeping bag because it was like 20 degrees outside. But we're past that, and the electricity's been redone. So I now can heat my room and I can heat the bathroom. And then, of course, the toilet finally is working today. It wasn't yesterday, it is today. So there's a lot of that. Not only that, but um, before I got the building back, the other two people that I was partners with, one of them came through here and was basically smashing things. And so there was a lot of damage. Yeah. Um, there was a lot of damage that I had to deal with. And I'm pretty sure that's why I needed to replace the toilet. The back had been smashed. So, um, and there was no water in it, so that'll just tell you it wasn't frozen and cracked. So,
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Ugh.
yeah, and that it is what it is. I'm happy to have it back, and I'm happy to be able to do something with it. So,
For
um,
sure. I was gonna say nobody likes a cold toilet. I'm glad that you can heat your bathroom up now.
oh yeah,
That's worse in the middle of the night trying to use the bathroom in the ice cold toilet seat.
yeah,
Just,
yeah.
it's great.
Not fun. Really, the last couple days have not been fun either because like I didn't even have like an actual seat on there for like 2 days. But yeah, I'm like, oh, this is just awful.
So
But you
it's
know what?
like urban
Baby steps.
exploring every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a new adventure every day. It absolutely is. But I'm loving every second of it. So
I mean, I would love it. I'd be so happy to do that every day for sure.
yeah.
So, what can you tell me a little bit about what this is?
Yes. So I don't even know how long, since day one, I have been looking for photos of George Stephenson and his wife. And if you look at the description or you can figure out who they are. So his wife is Nellie. So I believe these were pictures of Nellie's family, and she's from the Beer family. So Nellie Beer actually came from Chicago to run the railroads here and marry George Stephenson. And she was the one that I was like, I'm pretty sure somehow or another they're connected to the mafia, to the mob. And I found out later, we found some, I guess, poker chips in the basement that said Southland Mafia on them. And so that was the connection right there. And if you think about it, in 1901, women aren't exactly working.
Right.
So here's this woman in 1901 who was brought here from Chicago to run the railroad and marry the guy who owns the financial building in Wymore. Kind of makes you think a little.
Like
I
a,
believe that I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it sounds like a pretty powerful woman to me.
Yeah. And, I think she was sent here with the purpose of the mafia in mind.
Like more
That is,
to
that
keep
is my,
track
that's
of
my,
things or keep an eye out on
um,
things.
well, I think it was more or less, because there had to have been some good relationships with George Stephenson and some of the mafia and things like that. And mind you, that's just speculation. That part of it is just
Yeah.
speculation. But I would think that with those relationships and stuff, they would be like, "Oh, this is a good marriage. You marry my daughter," kind of thing, because they were still doing stuff like that.
Right.
Um, yeah. So I think that's probably where that all came in, because she was, I think, considerably younger than George Stephenson. Um, I want to say she was 16 or 17 when she came over here for that, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. That's history I got to relook into. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. Now you mentioned Al Capone and all that. He wasn't really known as a bank robber. He was more of like bootleg, you
mhm.
know. Uh, but you do have information on other bank robbers and stuff along that lines. You have the Baker and the Krepis gang.
Yes. So that actually happened in Fairbury, which is, I want to say it's like 40 minutes from here.
Okay.
But it's known that, they came through here. So Ma Barker had a she's one of those iconic gangsters, from back during that time period. So Ma Barker and her gang. However, it wasn't Ma Barker who actually robbed the bank. It was her son and I think another gang member. That article talks all about it. But afterwards, they did come back here through Wymore, and I want to say they were caught when they robbed the bank in Fairbury. I've also been to Fairbury, and the bank is still there.
Oh wow.
Um, and they apparently, the bullet holes are still in this bank, but I couldn't find them. And I think you have to have like someone who's willing to give you a tour and show you wherever they are. But I looked, I just couldn't find them. So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. But I talked to a couple people out there and I kind of got some conflicting stories. So I'm not really sure if they really even know exactly the history or whatever on that. But
Right.
finding that article was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I have a couple more that I wanted to show. Bonnie and Clyde. Everybody knows the Hoover, FBI, the G team
Hmm.
tried to
Yep.
get or pretty much shot up Bonnie and Clyde. What is their connection to this?
I just think Bonnie and Clyde again were just some people who were speculated to have
Right.
been in through and Wymore and spent some time here. So there used to be a hotel here called the Tethuzelon, and
Okay.
it took up an entire city block. It was at 3 stories. It originally I think was 3 stories. Eventually they took off one of the floors, which I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that in a building. Why you would, I'm not really sure, but they did. But
Okay.
unfortunately, it's not here anymore. But there's so many photos of it, and it was a huge deal. And it was, I mean, you get off the train station and you walk a half block, and you're at the Tethuzelon.
Oh
But it
wow.
was this massive hotel, and it was said to be like luxurious, and it really was like, if you're a mobster and you're coming through, this is where you're going to go, is the
Yeah.
Tethuzelon.
It,
So,
it,
um, and this just it really, Wymore was just kind of a hub for a lot of stops. When you think about it, it's kind of halfway between Vegas and New York, so it's a good place to stop.
now I
So,
know my favorite. I think I'm gonna pull up the right one. Uh, John Dillinger. You don't know what John Dillinger was? He was a bank robber. He was public enemy number one, like literally.
and
So did he? Good.
I'm just gonna say, let's come back to that in a little bit,
Okay.
because just you just got to trust me, because I know how you operate, and you just got to trust me on that one.
All right.
Hmm.
Sounds good. Uh, so we'll get into something else I wanted to show. Uh, is this more of like a I can't say it. Is this how it was in the building back then, or
Yeah, so a lot of the times, uh, so I take photos like this. I've done it for a few locations, and I just enjoy it. I love having days where, we all just come out, we dress up in time periods and we film. And I had a series that was picked up by Nick Groff for a little bit. It was on Amazon Prime, it was on his streaming service. And so some of the photos and videos from that were taken from these filming days. And so this is one of the photos that was kind of produced from that day. Um, and that's also another one. So these photos actually also have videos that go along with them. And you'll see them, like if I do promos and stuff, you'll see them in all the promos and in the videos and all those kinds of things. But I love doing it. And I think it gives such a good kind of feel. Like, I don't know, to me, it's the things you sense when you walk into here, and the things you can imagine, and the history. In a way, it brings all that history to life, while adding the paranormal aspect to it. And
right?
it's just so much fun. And the locations that I typically do this for, they will use the videos for advertisements for themselves. The Squirrel Cage Jail is one that I've done several of these for, and they use them on postcards. They've used them on posters. So they get full rights to it, and I get full rights to it. So, they use it to make money to fund their buildings.
That's awesome. That's cool. Now, before
It's
we get
fun.
into the actual photos of the building, what was the building like?
Uh, so, I'm not really sure what it was when Sam Wymore built it. Um, And he basically, so the Murdoch family, I'm going to start posting more and more about the Murdoch family. They were not the nicest people, but they acted like they were the nicest people. However, they were kind of thieves, and I forget his name. The dad, the head of the family, was kind of a jerk. And so Sam Wymore had actually left the building in his care, thinking they're good people. And because history repeats itself, I'm being the repeat. Basically, the Murdochs were stealing from Sam Wymore and stealing money and trying to steal the building from him. Sam Wymore took him to court, couldn't deal with it, and was like, just handed it over to George Stephenson and said, "You deal with it." Sam Wymore did win the case, but he died before he knew that he won his case against the Murdochs. But when George Stephenson took it over, it became the financial building. So basically, your bank. Not really. I don't want to really call it the bank because they had a bank, an actual bank, but this would have been like real estate and all that stuff. So anything that had to do with finances,
So more
basically,
like a
we would come here.
business building.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
But everything pretty much had to do with money, in some way or another. And trying to pinpoint exactly what that all is, I don't know, but that's probably done by design. When you think about, the all of that, with the
Yeah.
mobsters and things like that. So, but then it became, gosh, it was so many things. It was a hardware store, it was a plumbing store. The level above, was, 4 apartments. That was the last thing that it was, and then it was turned into someone's storage unit. So there's still two. Well, all 4 apartments are still there, but two you can very specifically see. We've mapped out the back two. There's a mini claw bathtub up in the first apartment. That's probably from the early 1900s to May. It's
Oh
beautiful.
well.
Yeah, so, yeah, but it was just so many things. It was a dance hall. Gosh, I don't even know. There's somewhere in this building, there is the list of every owner and everything it ever was.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, that was from the city. Where that's at right now, I couldn't tell you. I just know it's in here somewhere.
I I can't wait for you to find it. That's going to be
I
really cool.
know. I've seen it, and I've read over it, whatever. And the craziest thing is it really isn't all that interesting. I mean, it is and it isn't at the same time. So, but I do want to find it, but I know that it's here somewhere. I just, there's just so much stuff to go through at this point. So it
Yeah.
might be a while.
So me personally, I have them up here. My
Hmm.
dolls. Uh, are these more of just for show, or are these active, or 'cause I know you have
So
them in the TV.
yes. So Charlie is the boy doll at the bottom there. So Charlie was on Portals to Hell, and
Okay.
there are two EVPs that came from there. And I don't know. I'm sure I sent you at least one of them. But the EVPs are like of a little kid. Well, we also used to have this clown here called Peace Bottom. And everybody just assumed that these EVPs came from that clown. However, I dispute it because of what the EVPs say. One says, "I'm not the blossom," meaning I'm not Peace Bottom, because a lot of when you search it, you get Peach Blossom. And we were talking about it when those came out, when this EVP happened.
Oh
And
wow.
the other one says, "I'm stuck in this box." And it is the first time that Charlie was actually in a display case. So I firmly believe that they're from Charlie. I also noticed that because Charlie's been on the road he went on the road with me for a while, and wherever I put him, if he doesn't like it, something ends up on the floor. And I'm talking, and other people have seen it. It's not just me. I was at a friend's house, um, and in the morning, well, the night before we had asked him and said, "Okay, if it's you, throw something." And in the morning, we were woken up by, food trays that had been sitting on his refrigerator for years being thrown off the fridge. The dust wasn't moved, nothing. They were just thrown off. Another friend that I was staying at his house, we had put Charlie up in the he was up in the garage, and the next morning we go outside and the cat carrier that was sitting next to it was in the middle of the floor of the garage. I'm like, no explanation. So
Yeah.
these things, they happen. They happen when he's unhappy, I guess.
Has he made it clear that he doesn't like being in the TV, or does he like
uh,
being in the TV?
I don't know. I don't put him in the TV.
Oh, I thought he was in the TV.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No,
okay.
he's not. He's in a display case up front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That
I
TV That TV though was taken from so where my sister lives, there was a house across the street that was abandoned, and that TV was there, and it was just so cool. I was like, I just want it. And so I took it with me, but I found out later that that house had belonged to a man who died in a car accident.
oh
And they just the family just didn't care about the house. They just let everything rot in it. So yeah.
yeah. I've been into a couple locations that I want to take something, and I'm like, I yeah. I got enough creepy shit at home.
Yeah. Well, to be clear on that one, I was okay to take it. It wasn't, I didn't just take it without asking or anything like that.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So,
That's fair.
people come down on me a lot for that because I have a lot of stuff from a lot of abandoned places. But I'm telling you what, I just get lucky, and I get lucky a lot. It happened recently. It is a prison for the criminally insane, and it is in North Carolina. And I just wanted to take pictures of the outside because everyone was like, "Oh, you can't go in there." And there was a maintenance guy working there, and I just went up to him and I said, "Hey, is it cool if I just walk around and take pictures of the outside?" And he said, "You know what? I'm about to go to lunch and I'm accidentally going to leave the gate open." It's like,
That's
"What?"
all.
And then he showed me how I could get in, and he said, "If you want to take whatever, don't worry about it. Nobody cares. Like, they're cleaning it out and throwing it away anyway." And I was like, "Okay." So,
Wow.
but that's what I'm talking about. Like, I just get lucky. It just happens. I've just gotten lucky, and it's happened many times. So I'll just go
That's
keep going with it.
that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, just ask. What's the
Yeah.
worst they're gonna say? No.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be in the same predicament I am right now. So
Yep. Well,
I
I
mean,
I recently was at the Hand Hotel, which is in South Park, Colorado. Well, Fairplay, and it's like it's really, you know, haunted hotel, and they have they still have the regular keys with the little plastic tags.
yeah,
And I asked the lady if I could buy one, and she just gave me one, and I was like,
nice.
yes. So I just ask. I'm more than willing to pay for it. If they say no, then they say no. No harm done.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It was like a historical village that had like old houses and an old church and an old schoolhouse, and I did the same thing here in Bradenton, Florida, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't care." I was like, "Cool, all right, let's go." But
exactly.
now
That's so nice.
they're like most people just come in here and just do it, like, and then we got to kick them out because they at least you came in and asked me the like politely in the right way. And they're like, "Yeah, for sure." All right,
Yep.
so let's get into this house. You said you were well, are you like remodeling the apartment, or are you?
I'm not. I'm at least not at the moment. So that is the front apartment. And so that is actually through that door, the bathroom door there, that's where that amazing bathtub is. So right now I'm just, renting it out for haunted, whatever. And, there's a lot of it that I just kind of want to leave. Yep, there's the bathtub.
Well,
Um,
it's definitely mini.
yeah, it's amazing. It
I
looks
was
way better in
not thinking
person.
that at all.
But I want it to be a paranormal location. I want to do events here. I have done events here. I have an event coming up that's completely sold out. And I actually, since I've reopened it, we have sold everyone out, even without power and water. People
Oh,
have bought
wow.
all the tickets. So for the people who bought tickets coming up for April 25th, they're going to have toilets and lights. So how exciting for them, because they weren't expecting that. And I'm so happy that I can do that for people. I even got a refrigerator today, so there will also be cold drinks stocked
Yeah,
in this fridge
that's
for everybody who comes in. I'm just stoked. I'm so happy. But I just want to renovate it and try to, one, I want to save it, because the history is so important. And two, like some of the things in this place are just so beautiful and so worth saving. To me, it's obvious that the people who built this put some money into it. Um,
for sure.
and I can just see what it used to be, and I want it back.
They maybe you can maybe one of the apartments you can fix up, and then the investigators can stay in that apartment while they're investigating or something. I don't know.
I was definitely thinking about that. They would be, if I did, it would be the first to the front apartment, and then the very first apartment once you go down the hall. And that way, when it's not being rented out to paranormal groups, I can rent it out as Airbnbs and things like that. It's
Right?
going to take some time. But that is really kind of what I would like to do further down the road. Because the reality is, I think people think that when you buy a haunted location or whatever, you're lining your pockets, but it's the exact opposite. This is a labor of love, because it's expensive. Do I want people to rent it out? Absolutely, because every time someone rents it out, that's fixed ceiling tiles, or going towards getting central heating, whatever the case may be. It's going to go into this building one way or the other.
Right.
It has to. So
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have such a good investigators and property owners. We're okay spending that money because we know it's going into there. It's going. We know that it's advancing your progression, I guess you'd call it, and it would be made.
mhm.
It'd be better for us the next time we go, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they. I can't get over that little tub. I've never seen a. I've never seen one that small.
I love it so much. It is a half bathtub, and I absolutely love it. Like, I hope one day I can fix up that whole apartment and people can take a bath in that bathtub. That would be
I
so awesome. That would be
I don't
awesome.
even I don't even fit in normal bathtubs. This would literally be like knees to the chest. But I would sit in it. I would try. I would try.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, you never know what goes on in bathtubs back then. I don't know.
Have you ever seen what is that? It was a Bruce Willis movie. Um Oh, Last One Standing. Have you ever seen that movie? There's a
Yeah,
scene in that movie where he is in the bathtub. And that is what I think about every time I look at that. I'm like, that's like the Bruce Willis bathtub. And I think mine's actually fancier and nicer. But for
yeah,
whatever reason, that it's that time period and that whole way of life and everything. And I'm just like, I can just see like that whole era just coming to life. And
for sure.
I don't, I'm
Yeah.
crazy. That's all.
No, it's okay. Um, I just thought it was so cool. Look at them stairs.
That's actually not here. That is Washoe Club out in
Oh,
Virginia City. Yep.
okay. But look at them stairs.
That is cool. You can't even go on. So the one of the coolest things about those stairs, since you have it up, and why I'm just fascinated with this staircase. So there's two of these staircases in the world, and they are both built without nails or anything. And
Oh,
the
no.
same carpenter built both. And there's one at the Washoe Club, and the other one is out in the middle of Nevada somewhere. And I was really close, but never was right in just the right area to be able to go see it. But supposedly they have a blue lady that goes up those staircases. If you ever get a chance to go to Washoe Club, I love it. I love it so much. It's an amazing place.
Did did people actually walk up those? I mean, obviously you see the marks of it, but
Hmm.
like I would have to walk up like sideways. My feet are way too big for those little steps.
Yeah, and well, they didn't really have like the building codes then that they do now. So like a lot of the staircases that you see in some of these I think Malvern Manor, if you've ever been there, I'm sure some people who have been, out to Malvern, their staircase up to the attic, their stairs are so thin and so steep that like I have to walk up sideways just so that my foot fits on the stair because the stairs are
That's what I'm
so
saying.
thin. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's like that in a lot of locations, especially locations that have like slave quarters and things like that. Those staircases are always very narrow and very thin. Because let's face it, they weren't exactly treated correctly. So,
Right. All right. And honestly, I don't think back in those days there were people the size of me back
no,
then. Like,
people were just shorter and smaller in general.
yeah, yeah,
So,
no, that's like I'm 6'1", so I mean I'd be considered like a giant back then.
yeah, I'm 5'5" and I would be considered a giant
Yeah,
female. Um,
that's that's
People call me
crazy.
short. People call me short now, and I'm like, I don't even think I'm short. I think I'm just normal size, but
Yeah. Oh no, people definitely know I'm coming. Um, so are these like per period, or do you just find them in a thrift store, or
no. So those actually came from the apartments upstairs. Each apartment has a medicine cabinet in the bathroom. And
so
so those mirrors were taken off of each of the medicine cabinets. And I was trying to remember if one of them was missing. I think the front one was missing one. So those were the three hall apartments. But I want to turn those into Ouija boards and then sell them to raise money to go back into the building.
those are really cool. I've
I do
those
like them.
I like the shapes of them. Those are cool. Because like mirrors now are just boring squares. Like they don't. Nobody ever makes anything like it's just not. It's all square now. That's why I like
Yeah.
these old buildings. Like they don't build stuff like those anymore at all.
They don't. They absolutely don't. And I think that's like my whole like obsession is like there's just so many cool things and details and
I know.
every time I'm pulling up carpet and I'm finding random things from, the 1920s and the 1930s and just weird things and I'm an oddities collector. So that's it's an oddities museum as well. So I have display cases of all kinds of crazy cool stuff. And I just I don't know. I just love this stuff. I'm
Yeah,
obsessed.
that was going to be my next question. Have you what kind of stuff have you found?
So far, I found, and I've been posting some videos here and there, but I found like a little like lapel pin, or I'm not really sure, but it has initials SA on it. And I think that was from a certain designer in like the 1930s. I found some pieces to a little seal toy that was in here,
Uh,
and it made the seal actually work. And I have the original box for it, which is pretty cool.
oh wow,
Uh, I have old Dr. Pepper cans, beer cans, that I'm just finding like as I'm cleaning, like just, and they're the old ones with like the teardrop shape opening. God, what else? I'm trying to look at the display case because there's so much stuff in there. Um, what did I found? Oh, the fire department pin from the uniform. I'm
oh yeah,
not really sure what,
it,
yeah, I'm not really sure what era that's from. I don't know. They're just all kinds of weird little things. And I'm like, I'm hoping to find more. So,
is there anything from like back in like Al Capone or like the business wise
so
papers?
there were the Southland Mafia poker chips were here, unfortunately. the other two, one of the other two people took them, which I'm angry about because those really did belong to the building. So I just hope eventually they find their way back here. And it's things like that. So some of the things that were here are now gone, and it makes me really sad because they do belong here.
Yeah.
There is an advertisement, but again, that is one of the things that I actually don't put out on display because I will tell you it's offensive. But I still have it.
Yeah.
It was an advertisement for when it was a tobacco and whiskey shop, and that would have been around the 30s and 40s.
Okay.
So yes, I keep that one locked up in the office.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if people
I'll,
ask, if people ask to see some of this stuff, I will show them. Some of the information that I do have, also like you can go to the library and see it on display. Um, so I'm like, it's there, it's public. You can go look at it anytime you want. However, um, I don't leave it out there just for anybody because I don't want anybody to get upset.
we'll talk about that when we get off the air. 'Cause now I want to know.
Sounds like a plan.
Um. So I have a couple more pictures, and then we'll get into the videos. I don't want to keep you all night. Um. Is this something that you found, or is it something you collected, or
That was in here. That was in here when we got it initially.
is it
And it's
rideable?
I mean, the seat's cracked, and it's the
Uh,
plastic from sitting for so long is super hard. I mean, you probably could fix it up and ride it, but I'm not going to try.
yeah.
Not on your life. There's a lot of things I'm brave enough to do, and that is not one of them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Uh, I'm trying to think of what period do you think that is?
You know, I have no idea, but now I kind of want to like go. Um,
Look
I
it
can
up.
probably yeah, Google search it and see if it'll give me some answers. I do have that up in the. I don't know why there's so many clowns in here. Maybe because I like clowns. But like the one that was on Portals to Hell was a clown that I had made, and he's life sized. And so that I don't know, for some reason the unicycle just seems to fit the whole circus clown type thing. So.
Yeah,
Some people avoid that room.
I saw the clown through this hallway here. I
Yeah.
just me being an investigator in the dark and me walking in and seeing that and not knowing what it is. I mean, I'd be startled.
I'm going to make a very embarrassing statement here.
Scares
So
you every time.
I'm responsible for where these things are. I put them there.
And you think they're there?
The clowns are there. There's a couple of other mannequins around that I put there, and they all make me still jump from time to time. And I'm just like, damn it, why did I do this to myself?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you see it in like every paranormal investigation. Everybody walks in, they're like, "Oh shit, God." Yeah, I'm not gonna finish that, but use your imagination. But yeah, they're like, "Holy yeah," because you're not expecting everybody's mind while they're investigating. Like, let me see a shadow. Let me see a shadow. Let me see a shadow. Because I mean, that's like the holy grail investigating, you know.
Yeah.
And then you see that, and it's not even a shadow. You're like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I have it, it's my love of oddities, and my number one favorite oddities are like freak show and circus.
Yeah.
And fun house type stuff. I don't really understand where that comes from in my brain, but it's there, and I
Yeah.
just embrace it because that's the way I am.
That's I love the strange and unusual as well.
Hence why we're talking right now.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like I find the most unique people in this show. I swear, I love it. Um, like even these, like, is this down into your basement or
Yes. Yep. That
like
sure
even those?
is.
Just like they just look like death traps to my feet. They just
It's not so bad. The basement's very interesting though because it is one of the only buildings in Wymore that had 4 tunnel entrances, and those entrances were used for bootlegging liquor. They were used for the ladies of the night. They were used for all kinds of stuff. Initially, it was the tunnels were put in to pump steam heat to the Thuzalon Hotel, but then when they didn't need the steam heat anymore, they became empty, and the streets above ground had become incredibly dangerous. They were just so dangerous that people initially started using the tunnels as safe passage. Well, over time, those tunnels became crime ridden even more so. And so another set of tunnels was actually put in with a private police force to try to enforce, you know, put to
fine.
police these initial tunnels. And
Yeah.
then eventually they just filled them all in. So they
I was gonna
are no
ask, is
more.
any of the tunnels still there?
I want to say that there is, so like in my basement, you can tell where like 3 of them are. Um,
Wow.
and the grocery store across the street, I've been able to see where one of their entrances are. There's rumors that 1 or 2 houses still have tunnel entrances where you can go in maybe a foot or two, but for the most part, they had to fill them all in just because the streets can't handle that much emptiness with all the weight on top.
Yeah. Well, with
So,
modern cars and everything going over them now, yeah. Yeah, they didn't
hmm
have any like, vehicles or anything back then. We have a lot more weight now. That makes sense.
hmm
Um, are these going into the attic or apartments or?
So that those are the stairs to the upstairs, to where the apartments are. And so if you look
Okay,
to the right where you can see like the red door frame, so
yeah,
that's the entrance to downstairs. So in order to get upstairs, you do have to go outside, which is a similar style. So that's kind of like how the Washoe Club is the same thing. You cannot get to the upstairs of the Washoe Club from the inside. You have to go outside and go up. It's just kind of the style of how buildings were back then, especially ones like in town.
yeah.
They're all right next to each other. There's no spaces in between. The stairways are basically dividing building from building.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that like below zero snowing? You have to go out there to go into your build. That's
I've done it, to go upstairs. And there's no heat. There's actually upstairs at the moment, there's no heat, no electricity, none of that. We'll run it up there eventually, but for right now, there's not really a reason for it.
yeah. I love investigating and stuff like that. No power, no running anything. So if something happens and it's actually happening,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd much rather be in. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love power. I love coming back down to the other room that has power to, have a break and everything. But investigating wise, yeah, I'd rather not have anything going. Um,
Yep. You can't blame it on EMF if there aren't any.
right, right. That's what I tell people. Like, if your K2 is going off while you're walking through a cemetery, there is nothing in that cemetery that's running power at all,
Mm-hmm.
unless you
Yep.
have like I, I don't know. That's what I try to explain to people.
Yeah.
Oh no, wrong picture.
That's okay. That's the hallway. That is the upstairs hallway. And I'm trying to see. I think I'm at the back end. That one's hard to tell. Um, I think I'm on the back end. Yeah, because the apartments, it looks like one of them, the left side, you can kind of see where like one of the apartment entrances are. But
Yeah,
to me, the most active place in this entire building is that hallway.
it looks like it.
It is, everything happens in that hallway. It's incredible. I had a group here and we were all kind of sitting in, because there's like the two back apartments. A lot of the walls have been taken down, so it's kind of like one big room for the most part.
Okay.
And so we were all sitting up there in a circle, just doing an EVP session, asking questions, whatever. And we heard children laughing and running up and down the hallway. And so when I say we hear that, we thought there were children in the building.
Yeah.
And so we got up like, well, I didn't see anybody run past the door. And I'm like, I think some kids came in off the street, whatever, because at the time they were doing stuff like that. And so I was like, well, I'm going to get up and go look because they shouldn't be in here. And one of the people came with me, and there was nobody upstairs. There was no kids up there. And then to make things even crazier, I went downstairs and here the town officer is sitting at the middle of the street. And I said, and I looked at him and I said, were there any kids up here? He's like, no, I've been sitting here for about an hour just keeping an eye on y'all. Nobody's been in or out. And we're all
Wow.
just like, what?
Yeah.
Because it was very clearly like 4 or 5 children laughing and running up and down the hallway. As clear as you would be standing in a preschool or something listening to it.
Wow.
Yeah, we were all just kind of in shock, just absolute shock. So,
Now I know you said it was more of a financial and a different type of businesses and everything. Do you know any deaths or anything in the building or?
we do. There are 7 confirmed. The first one is a total of 5. And again, this is I'm just going to put a warning out there. This is a very uh, unkind topic, but this was known as a sundown town. And so there were 5 men who were basically lynched right out front of the building. And there is actual proof that happened, like video proof.
Wow.
Which again, I don't show people that. And it is not the actual event, but it is reenactments of the event. And that those videos were taken in like the 40s or 50s, I believe. So we have actual video evidence of that kind of thing. There was a man.
Was that with like the KKK or
No, it was just the
that time of period?
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Without saying too much, yes, it has to do with
Yeah.
that time period and things like that. And then the last resident that lived in the apartments was an elderly gentleman who I want to say he died of, it was either emphysema or lung cancer, but he passed away like in his bed. And he was the last resident here. Now, there are rumors of a female that passed away here, but finding out who that was and how she died, there's several different stories. There's a story that she was abused and he killed her, but there's also stories that she killed herself. And so I've been trying to pinpoint that one down. I'm convinced that it happened only because the guy who owned this building at one point when it was apartments up there, he happened to just show up one day and told me about the man who lived in the front apartment, that he physically grabbed him and threw him down the staircase because he was such a psycho, crazy, violent, whatever. And so the story of this female is attached to that guy.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of gray area, and I haven't really been able to connect all the pieces, or find everything that I really need to say everything for sure. But I can see that it's all coming together, and eventually I'll know the whole story. But
Yeah.
I certainly will never put anything out there unless I can absolutely prove it.
Right.
So. Yes.
Got it.
So those are the deaths that we know of. There's also rumors that there were a lot of deaths in the tunnels, and there's deaths that we don't know about because of Al Capone and just things like that. But again, if I can't prove it, I won't say for sure.
Right. Now, that's what I was going to mention. That time period, prostitution wasn't very. I mean, it was the ladies of the night for a reason. You know, it wasn't going to Disneyland.
No.
I'm sure there was some violent things happen, that aren't documented in that building. Um, do you get any activity from Ladies of the Night or anything like that, or EVPs or?
Well, we've had this lady singing. Now it's so crazy because when we first bought it and when I was spending those months here initially, before I bought it, and I was hearing this lady singing and I would get so excited. And and that's one thing I think a lot of people come here wanting to hear that. And I kid you not, my business partner at the time, he was here by himself and he was on the toilet. He was going to the bathroom and he FaceTimed me while he was in the bathroom because he was hearing the woman singing and he was so excited. He was like,
Yeah,
"I just want to hear this." And I'm like, "You're calling me from the toilet, dude."
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and it was so funny. I mean, obviously I couldn't see anything or whatever, but I'm just like, he was so excited that he finally heard this female singing. Um, and even if you watch the Portals to Hell episode, you can hear it on there. You hear a female, I think she says hey or hello. Um, and Heather Taddy, yeah. So Heather's become a really good friend of mine. She's an amazing human being.
I love
Absolutely adore her. Yeah, she is such a sweetheart. And she wants to come back and try to figure out what that was because, even in the talks that she does now, every time she speaks somewhere, she talks about the Stephenson building. Um, so I do want her to come back. I'm like, you can just come back and hang out. You don't have to
yeah,
film, nothing like that. I would just love her to be able to come back and experience it again. I kind of want Jack Osborne to come back as well. I don't know that he will. But he's a huge oddities collector as well.
yeah,
So
yeah. I've actually met him at one of the like spooky cons here in Florida. Um, but yeah, I've been watching Katrina and Heather Tabby since Paranormal State. Like
yeah, and now
back,
they do the Travel the Dead series.
yep, I've listened to that one too for sure. Um,
Yeah.
so let's get into a couple of these videos. There's a couple of them that aren't very long. So let's get into one of the longest ones, and then we'll have a conversation about it.
Welcome to my 145-year-old building. I knew it was haunted, but I bought it anyway. So let's renovate and investigate.
There's the REM pod. Hello. Thank you. Can you stop for a moment, please? Thank you. All right. Do you want to set that off again? There's mine. Thank you. You can go first. If you set yours off, I'll make mine go off. Make it go off as many times as you want, and then I'll copy you. Mine doesn't work exactly the same.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you hear that with your own ears, or did you hear that on recording?
I did, and I might have sent you the video that's just that. I heard it with my own ears, and I was on a live feed actually when that happened. So that video was made after I downloaded after the live feed, and I'm like, people can go watch the live feed and see in real time how this all kind of went down. The first thing I'm doing though is the game, and I've been playing this with
Yeah,
them for a long time, and I love it, and it works every time, and it ramps up activity. And it's that hallway, that long hallway. I'm sitting at the front, and the other one is all the way down on the other end of the hallway. And to make it even more crazy, that REM pod is in a Faraday cage, so it is blocking any and all signals. Yes. And to get the responses like I do,
for
I
sure.
I that video, I will admit that video is cut, but the only reason it's cut is because in between some of that, there's just a long space. So to fit it
Yeah.
all into the minute, I cut, but the it's not cut from the questions to the responses. There's no cutting in there. So you can always go watch the live and see like, oh, there was just like 5 minutes of nothing. And
Right.
then here's this, so, and then that baby crying, like even on the live, I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, that creeped me out, and it creeped me out for a little bit because I kept talking about it. And as soon as I was done on the live feed, I went back and listened. I was like, what is that? And so the very back apartment, the one that's real big and open, it came from there. It came from that room, and I was just like, "What on earth?" And it sounded like a baby crying, but when I listened to it, I'm like, "Is it crying or just making a noise?" I don't know, but it is weird. It's weird.
I think this is the video that you're speaking of.
First they set it off, then I set it off, or vice versa. And I don't know what that was, but that just sounded like a baby.
Wow.
Yeah, weird.
It sounds like a baby just like playing or something, like just making noises or something.
Yeah, or whining or something, and it's just like, what on earth? But the coolest thing, in my opinion, about that is I'm convinced that the game is being played with children. I'm convinced of it. And that kind of solidifies it for me.
I'm gonna have to
So,
try that. I'm not gonna try to steal your stuff. I mean, I kind of am, but I want to try that at the Plum House. That's a
you know what?
great, yeah.
Do it. Absolutely 100% do it. I encourage it fully. I have not been able to get it to work at any other location but this one. So if you
Now,
get it to work, I want to know.
oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. If I get it to work, you'll know because I'll be filming it. I'm like, oh, I'm sending this to Chris. You might even hear it on the live.
It'd be
Like,
fantastic.
hey. I've never thought about that. I mean, setting up REM pods here and there throughout the location, everybody does that. But I've never seen anybody try to play. That's kudos. That's really cool. Yeah, let's get into another video. By the way, if nobody ever watched this show from till today, these are all blind reactions. I don't watch these videos until I'm watching them, so it's the same reaction that you guys have. Let me play that again. Said I think it sounds like not the dolphin.
That's the one that I was talking about that says, I'm not the blossom.
Not the blossom. All right.
Yeah. So we were here and we were looking up, because remember I was talking about the Peace Bottom clown?
Yeah.
So I was trying to find anything that would validate the story of Peace Bottom or anything that would validate his story. I'm trying to look him up, whatever. And I kept getting Midsummer Night's Peach Blossom. And in the middle of me talking about Peach Blossom, this EVP of this child comes through that says, I'm not the blossom. And that's why I'm convinced that it's Charlie, because we're focusing on Peace Bottom. And basically, the EVP is saying, no, it's not Peace Bottom, it's me.
Wow.
Yes. And those EVPs are it was hard because
That's so clear.
It is very clear, and it's just, unfortunately, it's a lot. The original files are a lot clearer, but trying to get them through all this media and stuff and whatever to get them out there, it does kind of muddy it up a little bit. However, that EVP is not enhanced, no volume, no nothing at all in any way, shape, or form.
Oh wow.
Nothing has been done to it. Yeah.
And what kind of recorder do you use?
That one I believe was done on a DR60.
Okay, so it's a
Which
pretty good.
I typically don't like the DR60s because they have a lot of like residual stuff that kind of sticks to them.
Yeah,
Just because they don't work, it has a lot to do with sound waves and like what do you call it? Noise gates and things like that. They don't have those, and so it's basically like double exposure on a recorder. So I
okay.
don't typically. Those were so loud and so clear that it's very hard to dispute, no matter what it was picked up on.
Yeah. Dang, that's really cool. Oh, I found the other one. Well, you talked about this one also. That is so clear.
That's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Just crazy. To this day, I struggle to understand that. But I've had other EVPs like that from other locations. And I'm not really sure how I managed to catch EVPs like that. If I can figure out what it is specifically that I'm doing, I'll share it with everybody.
Yeah,
But
me too.
so I have EVPs that there's one that says never give up that I caught at Beatty Mansion, and it sounds just like you and I are sitting here talking. And that specific EVP, everybody was that there were three of us there, and all three of us were filming, and all three of us captured each other. At the time that EVP was going, and not one of us is talking, and you can see not one of us is talking. I think the
Wow.
three of us sat there crying because we just couldn't believe it. We were just in shock.
Yeah.
So
If I played that back in real time and I heard that, you would see a fat man dancing, because that's
there was just something moving over there. I don't know what it was. I
Oh,
was like,
by the
maybe
way,
it's the cat.
everybody, she's in the building now.
I am.
Playing the
I heard
record for
something
the
get
whole
thrown
time.
up there a little bit ago, and then over there, something was definitely moving, and I was like, maybe it's the cat, but the cat is not over there. I don't know. Whatever.
They like that they're talking about them.
Probably. I just find it weird that we're talking about Charlie and stuff is happening. We'll put it that way.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well,
He's
let's play
about
another.
10 feet away from me, so
Oh, I'm sure he's been listening to you the whole time.
probably.
Let's play another video.
I
I oh, what? Hold on. Hold on.
I
I hear that every now and then. I don't know what it is.
What?
And the video didn't know justice. I was me and one other person here, and we're just it happened once and nothing was recording. And so then I was like, I'm just recording from now on. I did not expect it to happen again. It sounds like somebody is closed fist punching the wall. Now, here's the problem. Okay. So this building is made
I
out of
thought it was
brick.
walking.
That's somebody punching the wall.
Oh my God.
Yes. And this building is inches thick of brick. On the other side of that wall is an abandoned building. It has been abandoned for God knows how long. Inside the building, right where the that wall is a staircase that goes downstairs. There is no way on God's green earth that that could come from outside. There's no way it could come from through, I don't know, 6, 7 inches of brick. I have no idea. I even, I think in like the full version of that video, like I go outside and show people like I mean, I could show you right now. No clue, no idea. And there's barnwood on the inside. And we tried to recreate the sound and can't get it that bassy and that loud. Um, Now it has happened again. I kept trying to catch it on film, but then I'm like every time I shut off the camera, it does it. It doesn't happen
Story of my
often,
life.
but when it does, and it is so heavy that pieces of paint from the ceiling tiles fall off the ceiling.
Wow.
Yes. And I'm like, I
Wow.
don't know. I was on the phone with a friend one time and it was happening. And he goes, well, what about air? I'm like, air from what?
Yeah, no, that's definitely no. That's
Well,
definitely
I
not
think
fair.
he was like, well, because I think he was talking about in the pipes. And I'm like, none of them
Oh,
work. There's no, nothing's, it's not even possible. There's no water running through, because at the time that this was happening, I still didn't have water. I didn't have electricity. So I had no explanation. I have absolutely no explanation. I even went upstairs the next day and filmed outside so that you could see like what's out there. Because the building next door isn't even as tall as this building. It's only half as tall. So no explanation, none whatsoever. I can't figure it out. Cannot figure it out. Exactly.
I want to listen to it again.
I
That is insane.
Yeah, and what's cut out actually, like right after that, because I just end the clip just so you're just focusing on that. But as soon as it stops, me and my friend are just laughing hysterically. We are like, what on earth? And we are just laughing. And there's my cat. So whatever was back there was not my cat.
Now, does your cat act weird in the property?
He's been here for 2 days only. And I will tell you, yesterday, I thought that I heard somebody walking in here, and I was like, I thought I locked the door. Um, sorry, because believe it or not, when I'm here, people think that, oh, it's just a business. We can just walk in. Nobody knocks. Small town. Usually it's people I know, so I'm not mad about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, I must have not locked the door. It might be one of my friends or somebody coming in. And when I came out here, Wilbur had jumped off the couch and he's looking around and he got real spooked. Um, and it took a minute to calm down. But see, I was talking about something moving in the back room, and he's actually like came over here and he's like looking back there right now. So so sometimes I think he's like, what is the deal here? He's looking at me like, what's wrong with you, lady? Um,
Yeah. Where the hell did you just bring me?
he's actually been doing okay there though. I think he likes it better than where we were, so I'm okay with
Oh,
it.
there's
Yeah.
probably a month. I don't know where you were before, but I'm sure there's a much more room to play in now.
Yeah, and he's kind of a loner, and so the people we were with, I was actually staying with a couple of my kids, and they had cats, and I think he's just happy he's all alone.
Yeah.
So
Got Now we have a couple more videos. They look like they go together. I tried to put all the videos together. Yeah.
just crazy, just
Now,
crazy.
what do you have cameras set up throughout the house, or was that just
Um,
like cam?
That was We did have cameras. I have cameras now again, but they're just not hooked up yet. They should be soon. But that just happened to be I just set up our whole camera system and just left it running and picked that up.
Wow.
And yeah, that one was a really cool. That was a really cool find, honestly.
I wonder if somebody touched it and the people are like, oh, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
You know,
um,
people back, we didn't have any of this stuff back in those days. Like, I wonder if spirits are like, what the hell is this futuristic shit
Yep.
that you're using?
And that's actually an old video from when I owned it initially. So that's kind of a few years ago. And that would have been like first experiences of investigating here. So new to them as well.
That's a pretty good EVP for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good catch. Let's play another one. Do you hear this stuff with your own ears while you're in the building?
So these ones the one right before that, no one was in the building. That one I did not hear. Sometimes I do hear them, sometimes I don't. But that one I didn't hear. That one I found later. So I'm just like, and I don't necessarily know, like, I think it comes off kind of like gruff, like, what are you doing? And I don't necessarily know that it's like mean because I know like the first thing people always want to go down is this demonic road, blah, 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 blah. But I just kind of think it's more like, what is this person doing in my house? Like, who are you and what
Yeah.
are you doing? And what are these weird things you're carrying around? And like, more confusion and like, I don't know. I don't really think anything's here that's gonna attack anybody
Now, is this
for lack of a better way to say.
is that the hallway for the apartments?
Yes.
Maybe it's the older gentleman, groggly old man. What are you doing?
I hadn't
You
have
know?
thought about that. I had not thought about that. That's a very valid point. Hadn't thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, he said he died in the apartment, so
Mhm.
maybe he might not know he's passed, and he's like, "What are you doing?" If he's
Yeah.
the only one, if he's the only one in the building, and he's the only one that lived there, why do you got a bunch of people walking down the hallway?
Yeah. That's very valid. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's the way my brain works, I guess.
I'll take it.
Yeah. All right, we have one couple more, and then we have the question of the week. Hold on. I know it's a full spectrum just because the video, but what are you using?
That I believe that was my GoPro, which for some reason my GoPro picks up sound fantastically. Some of these EVPs that I've got have been just through the GoPro audio,
Wow.
and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I
What
didn't even hear
GoPro?
that laughing. The laughing blows my mind because it's so loud, and I
Yeah.
never heard it. Never heard it at all.
That's why I had to replay it. I was like, what? I feel like I'm doing that with every video he send me now. I'm like, well, it just keeps getting better.
It's crazy. It's absolutely
Yeah.
crazy.
All right. I want to get my mind blown. Let's play another one.
Other locations. That is the REM pod is now going off by itself in the front room. And we're going to show you where that REM pod is. Let's hear it. And that is also in the Faraday cage. And there's Charlie.
He likes attention.
I see that.
Hmm.
Wow. All right, let's play one more.
Welcome to my 145-year-old building. I knew it was
Nope, I think I played that one.
Yeah. Oh, I must have not sent you the one I wanted to. That sucks. I'll have to tell you about it. Are those all the ones you have? You don't have any more?
Uh,
I missed it.
other locations.
you'll get short little.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I missed it.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you, and I'll look for it and I'll send it to you. So the reason I was able to really start putting the mobster gangster stuff together is because I have an EVP that says Dillinger, and
No.
yes, and I did not know I didn't know nothing about the Dillinger gang, not a thing. Didn't even know
Oh,
they
I know so
existed.
much.
And I got this EVP and it says Dillinger. And I called a friend and I said, "What's Dillinger?" And he said, "Oh, the Dillinger gang, John Red Hamilton." Or no,
Yep.
it doesn't, it says Hamilton, not Dillinger. And so I started looking into John Red Hamilton, and that's where I found the Dillinger gang. Then I learned, and this is crazy. So part of the Dillinger gang um, was running from the FBI, and they caught up with them here in Wymore. So they tried to escape through the tunnels to Camp Kinney, which is like 7 miles. The only thing left of this little camp town is the entrance to the cemetery and like 4 graves, which I have video of. It's on private property, but I was able to get some video and stuff of it. And the Dillinger gang, when the FBI caught up with them, they shot and killed 3 of the members, and there are 3 crosses that signify where those 3 members of the Dillinger gang died out here.
Wow.
I knew none of that until I got that EVP. And it's Hamilton, and it's very clear. And I was just like, what is it? And that's how I know that they were here. That's where I figured it all out. Just absolute crazy things. It blows my
Wow.
mind. It still blows my mind.
So Dillinger was in that town.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Well,
Yeah.
and I believe because of that EVP, I believe that John Hamilton was in the building. I can't prove it, but
Yeah.
to me, that EVP tells me he was here.
Yeah. Now let me pull that up. So the rumors have it that John Dillinger spent several weeks in an unknown location in, how do you say it? Wymore?
Yep.
Wymore. Yeah, I'm not gonna read it all. If you go on the Stephenson Facebook page, it's all on there. If you want to read all of this that I'm showing, there's actually a QR code that goes straight to her Facebook. Yeah, go over there and show some love to Christy. I know we have one more thing that I wanted to bring up that you talked about a little bit. You want to talk about this event?
Yeah, so they do this thing every year here called Sam Wymore Days, and they have a parade and they do karaoke at the bar. I love the Doghouse Bar and Grill; they're amazing people. I always tell people go eat there, but they do a big parade, and it's just like a whole weekend of just fun things and this and that, whatever. And this is the first year that I can really participate in it, so I want to open the building up to the public. We're going to do Sam Wymore Days after dark, so 2 of those nights we'll have late night investigations for people who want to come. I think what I said it at $49 a ticket, but we'll be here late. We're going to investigate. And then, of course, there's day tours, every hour, pretty much on the hour. And it's just pay at the door for those, whoever comes. I just cap it at 20 for the tour. Yep. So I just want to get people in here. I know there's a lot of townspeople who have been curious, who want to know, and some people who aren't totally sure about things or whatever. And I just want them to see the progress that's been done probably since the last time they've stepped foot in here.
Right.
So well, it'll be a fun weekend. My friend Kelly's going to help me run it, and we are dressing in period clothing
That's
because
awesome.
that's what I love to do. And she just came out of the closet and told me she loves doing it too. So I'm like, oh, we're doing it. We're so doing it. So
Yes, that's
we're going to
awesome.
we'll be giving tours in hoop skirts and cowboy dresses. So
That's cool.
it'll be fun.
So, if anybody that's watched the show knows that we love knowing what other people think in the comments, and we want to know what you think. This is the question of the week. So you're going for a solo investigation. You get a camera and you get a choice of one piece of equipment. Write in the comments, if you're watching this on YouTube later on, write in the comments below or write in the comments now. Chrissy, what do you pick?
The recorder, 100%.
Yeah?
Every time. Yep.
All right. All right.
I'm going to keep getting EVPs.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you get them as clear as that. I would too. Honestly, I like my SB11, my spirit box. I might not be able to get it. I mean, I wish they recorded. I wish they recorded itself. But yeah, I love my spirit boxes.
I found the best thing you can do with that is use your phone to take recordings of your spirit box. Your phones
Yeah.
now, they have such fantastic recorders. You can tell I went to school for this stuff. Like I'm a nerd. But your phone to record your spirit box, one of the best things you can do.
Huh. Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. They're like, "Oh, I don't have a bunch of equipment." I'm like, "But you got a phone in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Takes recordings, and you could film, and you could take pictures. What more
Yep.
do you need?"
Exactly. I agree.
But yeah, dude, this building's amazing.
I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I'm happy to be here all the time.
For sure. I'm kind of jealous, not gonna lie, but
Well, you're welcome to come visit.
Yes, awesome. Maybe we can do a part 2 and we do like a walkthrough type of thing.
Absolutely.
For sure. Awesome. But thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us and speaking
Thank
about
you.
this awesome building. Hopefully sometime soon we can do a part 2 and we can all see this awesome house. But I do have an announcement before you go. I thought you would like to hear this. Maybe you could tune in. I have a next investigation that's coming up. It will be here. Underworld Ministry, what is going on? I just wanted to come on here and tell you that we have another investigation coming up April 28th. Don't worry, we have a lot in between. But we will be going back to our home away from home, the Gilchrist County Jail. But it won't be like it is before. It's a whole other new experience, new equipment, new tests, new, maybe just me. And that's it. The whole jail. Sounds good to me. Remember, always stay creepy, friends.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So this is my home away from home. People that have watched this show from the beginning, they know Henry. They know. But if you ever come down to Florida, let me know. I can get you into this amazing location.
Absolutely.
It's only 8 cells from 1920s. It's amazing. It's an amazing jail. But
I've heard good things about it, so I would love to check it out.
And then now I want to know what you hear. So I want to say it's all true, but I got to know what I got to know what you know. But thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully we can see you again soon.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Awesome. And remember, everybody, always stay creepy. See you guys.